Give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good. His mercy endureth forever. Let the people of God say amen. If you love the Lord, say amen again. Amen is our way of saying it is so. Whatever God has declared and decreed, whatever the word has been spoken from God's mouth or our lips, amen says, and it is so. Shall we pray? Eternal God, our Father, we give you glad thanks today for the good tidings that you brought us early this morning when mercy woke us up and started us on our way. And so, God, you gave us means and grace to get here. We're grateful, God, that you met us here. Now, God, as you met us here and made a way for us to be here, move, oh God, and have your way now that we are here. And speak to us, oh God, feeding our souls and our spirits with manna, with the word from on high. And now, God, save sinners and strengthen the saints through your scriptures and through our celebration. In Jesus' name and for his sake we pray. Let the church say, amen. Amen. Last week we looked at the story of transfiguration from the Gospel according to Matthew. I want to pick up where we left off, but I want to look at it in Mark's account this time. Mark chapter 9. A few selected verses I want to share with us, especially looking at the aftermath of what happened after the disciples saw Jesus transfigured on the mountain. Mark chapter 9. Mark chapter 9. I'm going to look at just a few verses, starting at verse number 5. But I'll move around a little bit. I'm trying to get a picture of what happened after they saw Jesus transfigured on that mount. And so Mark chapter 5, there we are, and we find these words. Then Peter answered and said to Jesus, Rabbi, it is good for us to be here. So let us make 3 tabernacles, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. Verse 9 says, Now as they came down the mountain, he commanded them that they should tell no one of the things they had seen until the Son of Man had risen from the dead. 14 says, And when he came to the disciples, he saw a great multitude around them, and scribes were disputing with them. 17. Then one of the crowd answered and said, Teacher, I brought my son who has a mute spirit. Verse 22. Jesus said to him, If you can believe, all things are possible. Verse 22 says, And often rather he has thrown him down both in the fire and into the water to destroy him. But if you can do anything, have compassion on us and help us. 23, Jesus said to him, If you can believe, all things are possible to him who believes. Immediately the father of the child cried out and said with tears, Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. Again, I think that was verse number 9 that said, Now as they came down from the mountain, as they came down from the mountain, he commanded them that they should tell no one of the things they had seen till the Son of Man had risen from the dead. But then 24 says, Immediately the father of the child cried out and said with tears, Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. Say those words with me. Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. Amen. I want to take this text and share from this subject. It's time to come down from the mountain. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. It's time to come down from the mountain. Many of us tend to be focused on the upward trajectory that we take in life. We focus on getting a raise, upward trajectory. We focus on getting a promotion, upward trajectory. We focus on getting married, on having children, on going to school or finishing school, upward trajectories of life. We focus on the success stories, the victorious events. We focus on the times of triumph and overcoming our trouble. We focus on the times we have moved ahead, gotten ahead, or stayed ahead. We focus on the times when we moved up, got up, and stayed up. We focus on life's upward trajectory so much that we expect to always be up, to always win, to always be on top, to be privileged, to be popular, to be empowered. We sacrifice meaningful relationships with our loved ones in order to move up. We sacrifice our personal time in an effort to move up. We stay committed to communities and careers that don't even care about us trying to move up. We are so driven, so determined, and so desperate to be up that we don't know what it means to be down. We're so used to hearing yes, we don't know how to respond when life tells us no. We're so used to having things our way that we don't know any other way. We don't know how to deal with defeat. We don't know how to cope with crisis. We don't know how to recover from rejection, how to feel when we fail, how to hold on despite the hurt. We have been so preoccupied with progress and moving up that we haven't learned the lessons of coming down. Because on the ladder of life, there are some lessons that you learn going down that you don't learn on your way up. I'm already preaching up in here. On the way up, you learn haughtiness, but on your way down, you learn humility. On your way up the ladder, you learn achievement, but on the way down, you learn embarrassment. On your way up the ladder, you learn your strength, but on the way down, you learn your weaknesses. On the way up, you learn how to make it work, but on the way down, you learn the best laid plans don't always work. On the way up, you learn success, but on the way down, you learn failure. On the way up, you learn selfishness, but on the way down, you learn the selflessness of service. On the way up, you learn who you pretend to be, but when life knocks you down, you learn who you really be. Can anybody know what it means to be up and to be down? That's why if you read your Bible, the book of Big Mama, chapter 3, verse 16 says, be careful how you treat people on your way up, because you're going to pass those same people on your way down. Y'all ain't read your Bible. Verse 17 says, learn how to treat the custodian with the same respect as you treat the CEO. Verse 18 says, be careful of the toes you step on today, because they may be connected to the butt you got to kiss on tomorrow. Y'all ain't read your Bible. You ain't read your Bible. You ain't read the book of Big Mama, chapter 3, verses 16 through 18. But this, my friends, in part is both y'all the power and the purpose of the Lenten season. Because while we are preoccupied with being up, Lent reminds us that all of us have got to come down. While we are succeeding, Lent reminds us of where we are failing. While we are busy doing, Lent reminds us that all of us are also dying. From dust thou art, and to dust thou shalt return. The text then that is before us today is a most befitting pericope for the first Sunday of Lent, because in the text, Jesus and his disciples were up on a mountain of transfiguration. They were having an experience of seeing the glory of God come upon Christ. They were at the apex of achievement. They were at the pinnacle of their purpose. And as they were on the Mount of Transfiguration, the Bible says they were so high that they did not want to leave. They saw Jesus talking to Moses and talking to Elijah, and they heard the voice of God talking to them. And Peter said to him, Lord, it's good to be here. Lord, let's build 3 tabernacles, one for you and one for Moses and
run for Elijah, and let's never leave this place. Because anybody who has ever been at a high point in your life, you know how it feels when you are high and having a good time. It may be a natural high or an artificial high, but if you've ever been high, you know what it means to be high and to have a good time. That's how it feels when you are successful. That's how it feels when things are going well. That's how you feel when you are having a good time. You don't want to leave. You don't want to go. You don't want the party to end. But Jesus says to Peter, we cannot stay up. We must go down. For Jesus going down meant going to Jerusalem. For Jesus going down meant going to Calvary. For Jesus going down meant going to the cross. And during the 40 days of Lent, we journey with Jesus and his disciples coming down from the Mount of Transfiguration, going to the cross of Calvary. I ain't just preaching, y'all, I'm teaching. During these 40 days of Lent, 46 if you count them on the calendar, but 40 days because we don't count the 6 Sundays. So during these 40 days of Lent, we are journeying with Jesus down the Mount of Transfiguration and over to the cross of Calvary. We journey with him from the Transfiguration Mount to Calvary's Hill. And yet the broader scope of events that are recorded in Mark chapter 9, they chronicle for us that after Jesus, Peter, James, and John come down from the mountain, it suggests to us, y'all, that we, like they, cannot just come into God's presence and have a good time and then go home and sit on it. We cannot come into God's presence, y'all, and bless his holy name and then go home and not tell anybody. We cannot come up in here and shout hallelujah and thank you, Jesus, then go home and not say anything to anybody about how good God is and the power that God has. In other words, beloved, the full scope of Mark 9 tells us that being a Christian is not just what you do and what you see when you feel like you are up in the presence of God, but it's also how you treat somebody else and how you bless somebody else and how you witness to somebody else even after you come down from the mountaintop. When you get off of your high horse, when things don't go the way you thought they would go, when you cannot stay in the places where you wanted to stay, when you no longer possess all of the stuff you used to possess, because the reality of God in our lives and the reality of the life to which God has called us to live says, yes, it's good to be in the high places of God. Yes, it is good to be where you can hear the voice of God. Yes, it is good to be where you can be nurtured and revived. But after being up, do you have what it takes to survive when you got to go down? Help me somebody up in here, because the truth is that is why we have only been invited into the presence of God in the first place. We have been invited to worship. We have been invited to hear the word. We have been invited, like the disciples were, to be strengthened by God. But after we have been in God's presence, can we come down and serve in God's kingdom? And what you will find, my friends, is that many times that the stress and the strain of our service depletes what we receive in our worship. What happens in our down times, in other words, deplete what we receive in our high times. The stress and the strain of our service depletes the power and the energy we receive in our worship. And that's why we come week after week, because what has been deposited into me during the high time of Sunday morning worship is oftentimes depleted by the end of the week. Y'all My patience is worn thin by the end of the week. My last nerve is barely hanging on by the end of the week. My tongue is ready to get disrespectful by the end of the week. These hands are fired up and ready to fly by the end of the week. And when I get to my low point, I got to go back to the high place in order to get filled up again. Am I helping? Am I preaching? Am I helping anybody in the house today? It's just like my car. I fill up my car on the weekend, but something happens all during the week. I can fill it up on Sunday, but I got to go right back by Saturday, because driving from here to there and everywhere, it uses what I received on Sunday. And so I can't go to the gas station one time. I got to go back and forward and back and forward time and time again. In other words, when my gas tank is high, life brings it down low. And when it gets low, I got to fill it back up high. And when life gets high, I got to come back down low. And as I go backwards and forward, trying to fill up, I get what I need. I wonder if I got about 5 folks in the house today who came just because you needed to be filled back up. I wonder if I got about 5 folk in the house who came saying, Lord, I'm empty and I need you to fill me up. I got filled up on last Sunday, but somewhere during the week, my light came on telling me my fuel was low. My light came on telling me my strength was low. My light came on telling me my faith was low. So I came to get filled up again. Lord, fill me with your grace. Fill me with your power. Fill me with your word. Fill me with your Holy Ghost. Fill me with your love, with your peace, with your joy. Fill me with your heavenly benediction. Lord, fill me with whatever it is that you know I need. That's why we come. That's why we come to the high places, so we can get filled. But after we leave the high place, the text says we've got to come down from the mountain. It's interesting in the text why they come down. The text doesn't tell us initially why they had to come down from the mountain, because Peter had a really good idea. Peter said, let's stay up here and build 3 tents. Let's stay up here and build 3 tabernacles. Let's stay up here and never have to leave. Peter had a really good idea. Newlyweds know what that good idea feels like. That sometimes all you want to do is stay in the bed, but somebody got to have enough sense to say, we got to go to work. When you had your birthday party, you know what it feels like to be drinking and having a good time and never want to leave. But somebody said, but you got to go home because you got to pay your bills. You can't live in the club. You still got to go home. You can't live in the bed. You got to get up and go to work. You can't live at the buffet table. You got to get up and go to the gym. And all the high places and points that you have in life, you can't stay there forever, but sooner or later, you got to come down. And the text tells us in the events that unfold next why it was so important for them to come down. The text tells us, first of all, that Jesus and the disciples had to come down because at the foot of the mountain, there was somebody who was in distress and didn't know what to do. I'm trying to help all us high and mighty folk in the house. That the text says it's time to come down because at the foot of the mountain, there is somebody who is distressed and they don't know what to do. You may be having a good time. You may be succeeding where you are. You may be winning in your worship, but sooner or later, you can't stay up there on the mountain forever, because down at the foot of the cross, there is somebody who is distressed. There is somebody who is discouraged. There is somebody who is disgruntled, and they need you to minister with them and share some good news that you heard when you were up there on the mountain. I'm in the text. I'm in the text. I'm in the text. The text says, beginning in Mark chapter 9, verse number 14, it says they found the other disciples, and with the disciples there was a great multitude, and they were talking about spiritual matters, because in the multitude was a man, and the man had a son, and the son was possessed, the King James says, by a dumb spirit. And the man says, I've taken my boy everywhere. I have done everything I knew how to do. I brought my son to your disciples, and out of everything I have tried, nothing has seemed to work. Out of every place I have been, nothing has worked. Out of everybody I have talked to, nothing has worked. And the man confesses, I really don't know what else to do. Have you ever met somebody who did not know what else to do, or been there for yourself? Because the man that we find at the foot of the mountain in Mark chapter 9 is no different from many men and many women who we meet in 2020. Men and women who are stressed and distressed, discouraged and disgusted, feeling lost, feeling lonely, and feeling left out. They feel as though I've been working hard, but my work is not being rewarded. I've tried to do good, but it seems like for all the good that I do, bad stuff keeps coming back to me. I'm trying to make things better. I'm trying to make the best of my situation. I'm trying to do everything I've been taught to do and trained to do and advised to do, but nothing seems to be working. Lord, help me, because I'm about to give up all of my hope. Lord, help me, because I'm at the end of my rope and losing my grip. Lord, help me before I lose my mind and lose my sanity, lose my job and lose my children. And that's, y'all, why we got to come down, because we can't keep God all to ourselves, locked up in our private world, because there is somebody at the foot of the mountain who stands in need of help. There is somebody at the foot of the mountain who needs to have an encounter with Jesus. There is somebody at the foot of the mountain who is discouraged and distressed, and they need somebody who has been up on the mountaintop. They need somebody who has experienced the glory and the majesty of God. They need somebody who has heard the voice of God. They need somebody who has a personal relationship, a private relationship, a powerful relationship with Jesus to bring Jesus down to where they are. Because while you may be high and mighty, some people are down and out. Some people are in the gutter, and some people are in the valley, and some people never went to college, and they're not impressed with your language and your SAT words. They are not impressed with your titles and your degrees. They are not impressed with being prim and proper. They don't care about split infinitives, Damon modifiers, and vague pronoun references. But somebody needs to know that the same God who was with you up on the mountaintop is the same God walking with him in the valley low. The same God you saw up on the mountaintop is the same God who will meet me in the valley of the shadow of death. Because it does not matter if you are high or low. It does not matter if you are rich or poor. It does not matter if you got 5 degrees or no degrees. Jesus Christ is still the answer for me and for you. Jesus is still the way for you. Jesus still loves you and cares for you and died for you and rose again just for you. Snoop didn't do it. He would have cussed you out. But Jesus did it without a doubt. Gail couldn't do it. She'd be all in your business. But God knew everything and gave his son anyway. Trump couldn't do it because he's a liar. But the Lord did it because he loves you. There is nobody who loves you like Jesus. And somebody in the valley needs to hear you say, he is the way. He is the truth. He is the life. It's time to come down from the mountain.
Y'all pray for me. I'm only on point one. Point one. Let me move on. Let me move on. Point number two. The text tells us it's time to come down from the mountain. Watch this, because at the foot of the mountain is where we engage in spiritual warfare. That's at the foot of the mountain is where we engage in spiritual warfare. At the foot of the mountain is where the devil and his demons are causing all kinds of chaos and confusion. At the foot of the mountain is where the demons are breaking up homes and turning husbands and wives against each other. It said they were debating at the foot. At the foot of the mountain is where the unclean spirits are inhabiting children, causing them to be disobedient and disrespectful. I'm in the text. At the foot of the mountain is where the spirits of ignorance and low self-esteem, of violence and aggression, materialism and greed are threatening to destroy the world in which we live, and an entire generation of God's children. Satan and his minions, evil and unclean spirits, are not just attacking adults and grown people, but they are attacking our children as well. The text says in Mark 9:15 that when the multitude saw, watch this, that Jesus was coming down, it said they were greatly amazed and came running to salute him. When they saw Jesus was coming down to their level, that's what it says. When they saw Jesus coming to meet them where they were, that's what it says. When they saw Jesus coming to break it down and be with them, the text says they were greatly amazed. Verse 17, and somebody in the crowd brought his son to Jesus, saying, Master, my son has a dumb spirit. He said, Master, I brought my son to your disciples, and they cannot do anything about it. Wherever he goes, the spirit tears him and cuts him and makes him foam at the mouth and gnash at his teeth. It makes him fall out as if he was dead. Verse 22 says, oftentimes this foul spirit has cast my son into flames of fire or deep levels of water, because this unclean spirit is trying to kill my son. The man says, I've done everything I know how to do. I have used up all of my resources. I have used up all of my resolve. I'm at the end of my rope. I have nowhere else to turn. I have nothing more that I can do. And while you were up there with Peter, James, and John on the mountaintop, I brought my son to your other 9 disciples that you left behind, and they could not do anything about it either. Isn't it funny, my friends, that whenever you have done all that you can do, the very last resource you find is the resource you should have used in the first place. The man said, after I had spent all of my money and traveled all over the country, after I've come to your disciples and your disciples could not do anything, he said, Master, I'm coming straight to you, because sometimes you got to go to the head when you can't get what you need from the hand. Oh yeah, and when the spirit was in the boy, saw Jesus in verse number 20, I want you to notice how Jesus did not say a word to the spirit. But when the spirit saw Jesus, he knew who Jesus was. And once again, the spirit tried to kill the boy. And the boy fell to the ground, foaming at the mouth. I'm in the text. The text says, instead of talking to the spirit in the midst of attacking the boy, instead of talking to the boy that was laying on the ground, foaming at the mouth, the Bible says Jesus talked to the boy's father and said, how long has your boy been like this? Verse 21, the man says he had been like this since he was a child. He's been like this for as long as I can remember. He's been like this since the day he came out of his mother's womb. You see, beloved, the boy himself does not know why he is acting the way he is acting. The boy himself does not know why he is doing what he is doing. In other words, spirits don't wait until you get grown to attack you, but they try to get in control of you as soon as they
Jesus met us on the ground. Jesus met us in the valley. Jesus met us in the dope house. Jesus met us on the whole stroll. Jesus met us in the psych ward. Jesus met us when we were broke, busted, and disgusted. Jesus met us in the valley, in the shadow of death. You got to come down from the mountaintop, because that is where we do warfare. And Jesus is trying to meet us right where we are. Well, let me quit. 35 of the text tells us that we must come down from the mountain, because the world needs our ministry. The text says we got to come down from the mountain because the world needs our ministry. You see, beloved, the movement of Mark chapter 9 is the movement from atop of the mountain of transfiguration down the mountain into a field ripe for ministry. It is from the pinnacle of power down into a pit of despair. And no matter how high the disciples may have been with Jesus, Jesus tells them it's time to come down from the mountain, because that is the only way that we can do ministry. That's why they meet the man in the multitude down at the foot of the mountain. This man is there because he is in need of ministry. The man even confesses to Jesus, Lord, I believe that you are able, but I'm not as strong in my faith as I should be. Lord, I believe that you can, but I'm not as convinced as I should be. Lord, yes, I do believe, but I need you to help my unbelief. The old saints used to say, I need you to prop me up on my every leaning side. I need you to make me strong where I am weak. I need you to pick me up where I am falling down. And so that's why he brings his demon-possessed son to Jesus at the foot of the mountain. Because it's not just the daddy who is standing up, but it's also the son who is laying down. And both of them are in need of ministry. And as they come down from the mountain and into the field of ministry, the Bible said that Jesus told Peter, James, and John, don't tell everybody about what you saw on the mountaintop just yet, but wait until I am buried and resurrected again. And then your ministry will be to tell everybody what happened up here on the mountain. Tell somebody that this is the one whom God himself has claimed as his only begotten son. Tell somebody that this is the one whom you saw talking to Moses, but God has chosen him before the law. Tell somebody that this is the one whom you saw talking to Elijah, but God has chosen him before the prophets. Tell somebody that this is the one whom we beheld in all of his glory. Tell somebody that this is the one who is Ezekiel's wheel in the middle of the wheel. This is the one who came to answer Isaac's question, where is the lamb? This is the one whom Isaiah said the government would be on his shoulders, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting your house and heal your mother-in-law. James, somebody needs to hear how I changed your mind and delivered you from being judgmental. John, somebody needs to hear how I trusted you so much that when I died, I told you to take care of my mama. That's why we got to come down from the top of the mountain, because somebody needs to hear how the Lord picked you up, turned you around, placed your feet on higher ground. Somebody needs to know, Lucius, while you were paralyzed, but today you're walking again. Somebody needs to know, Linda, how you need a kidney, and the Lord provided in record time. Somebody needs to know how you are widowed and wonderful, how you are single and satisfied, how you've been healed by God's power, how you've been set free by God's grace. Somebody needs your testimony, how God is a heart fixer, a mind regulator, a bill payer, a way maker, a joy giver, a peacekeeper. Somebody needs to know that despite it all, you got something on the inside. Whether I'm up or whether I'm down, I got something on the inside. When all is well, all hell breaks loose, I got something on the inside. I got joy that the world didn't give. I got peace that the world didn't give. I got power that the world didn't give. And I ain't gonna let the world take it away. If there anybody here that's ready to come down from your mountaintop and move to a build-up ministry, God is with you. God is walking with you. God is talking with you. God is taking care of you. And God is keeping you. You can go from transfigured to being crucified, but the Lord our God is with